Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan and welcome to the latest episode of our entertainment show. As you know, each week in part 3 of our entertainment show, we premiere a new TV series or new movie that's debuting here in Ireland and the UK. In terms of maybe it's a season 1, maybe it's season 4, maybe in some times like this occasion, we're very announced to be premiering a season 6 of this particular TV show. The TV show up for discussion today is Station 19. Season 6 of it is debuting here in Ireland and the UK on March the 8th, and it features a whole load of the lives of firefighters stationed in Seattle, Fire Station 19, in terms of their daily lives, their personal lives, their private lives, and everything that goes around them. It's been a very synonymous success show. It's a spin-off of Grey's Anatomy. It's the second actual spin-off of the successful show Grey's Anatomy. It features an all-star cast featuring Jaina Lee Ortiz, Damon, Jay Hayden, Barrett Doss, Danielle Savre, and our special guest this evening, the one and only Jason George, who plays the character Ben Warren. And Jason, before I came on to air to you, I said you're a busy man at the moment with Grey's Anatomy nearly going into double figures in terms of seasons, and Station 19 not too far behind it on Station 6. You seem to have found a knack of getting on long, successful TV shows that don't end after maybe 1 or 2 seasons.
You know what's hilarious is it didn't used to be that way. I used to be the guy that if you saw me on, you do a pilot is the show that you do. You put a show together, a pilot episode, to see if they want to buy the show and turn it into a long-running television series. If you saw me on the same pilot as you, buy the car, but don't buy the house, because the show will go, but it's not going to go very long. That used to be the deal with me. Like it was, the show was going to make it on air, but you're going to get maybe a season, maybe 2 seasons out of it. And then Shonda Rhimes sprinkled a little pixie dust on me, and I've been playing Ben Warren since I think Chandra Wilson, who plays Bailey, tells me that it was season 6 that I first showed up. So that would mean that I've been coming in and out of Grey's Anatomy for 13 seasons now, and we're on season 6 of Station 19. So when they told me I was going to spin off onto this new show, I thought they were going to fire me. To be perfectly honest, when you get that random call and they say, Shonda Rhimes and Betsy Beers would love to talk to you this afternoon at 5 o'clock. First off, you don't say no. And the second thing you think is, I'm fired. But it turned out I was getting a new show.
And what's days like for you on set? Are you, one day you're jumping in a doctor sort of environment, you're that sort of headspace, and then maybe the second part of a day you're in the sort of gotta save the world sort of action hero sort of mode and sort of fire. Is it sort of do different environments in terms of having to switch headspace every single sort of day, and in terms of character lines, in terms of, because you probably have one story in Grey's Anatomy that maybe might be let's say dreary, not say dreary, but it might be a sort of story, a sad sort of compressed sort of story with some sort of real sort of emotional sort of heartbreak or something. And then you go into a burning building and a sort of an inferno place. At 9 o'clock, you're nearly in the ward where everyone's crying their eyes out. At 11 o'clock, then you're trying to escape. 6 p.m. then in the day, you're trying to blaze your way through a burning warehouse that's a burning inferno.
Yeah, it's the fun part is that it really is a universe. They do a great job of making, it blends perfectly together, because in Station 19 we're firefighters and first responders, so we run into burning buildings or go to where car crashes happened or people are hanging off the top of buildings or whatever crazy situation is happening. We try and save the people, but inevitably they get hurt or injured or on the verge of death, and we run them to the hospital. And so we drop them off at Grey's Anatomy, which comes right after us. So the storylines blend from one right into the other. But like you say, it might be a different take on it, whereas it might be an action storyline and how we're trying to save the person on Station 19. It might become much more emotional or much darker or even funnier on Grey's Anatomy with the same characters. So it's worked out great for the guest stars, because for a whole segment of guest stars now, when you get a guest star on Station 19, there's a 50% chance that you get a second guest star. You double down your money and you get to show up on Grey's Anatomy as well. So, but you just got to be prepared to make that shift. I mean, look, I have to be at work tomorrow. I'm at Grey's Anatomy in the morning. with some intense stuff. And then the scene at Station 19 in the evening is much funnier and lighter, but by the end of that same episode, it's a whole different jag. By the end of that same episode of Station 19, I'm emotionally wrung out and physically wrung out. And so it's been a crazy few days for me on the episodes, but this is much later in season 6 for you all.
And I suppose, Jason, in terms of Station 19, obviously when it came about, when you heard the spin-off, were you more excited as an actor as well? Because this really, you can delve into that sort of stunt sort of world in terms of doing your own sort of scenes, in terms of physical sort of scenes, in terms of that sort of special effects of drama. I know Grey's Anatomy is more of a drama, so it's more character, it's more what dare I say, it's more theatrical based in terms of portraying lines and portraying emotion. But you also have the Station 19 now, you mentioned some of those scenes, you really have the backdrop to sort of real sort of intense go-getting sort of action stuff with adrenaline sort of seeking rush. Do you enjoy that, having that sort of mix? Because I imagine as the drama-based acting sort of stuff, you can sort of get lost in it, but there's no real sort of adrenaline rush to it, dare I say?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no shortage of drama on either of the shows. I mean, we have plenty of drama, and it's all relationships. So the DNA of both shows are shared. Like, I would say Grey's Anatomy is 70% relationship drama and all the pieces that come with that, the highs, the lows, the parts that make you laugh of a relationship and the parts that make you cry. And then 30%, the procedural elements of being doctors, trying to solve problems, trying to save lives, putting the puzzle pieces together to figure out what it is that's causing this person to be on the verge of death or to be getting sick. So it's like a 70-30 split procedural versus relationship drama, whereas Station 19 is 70% relationship drama and all the highs and lows and funny of that, and 30% action. And so it is, that 70% is common in both shows. But yeah, I mean, look, the funny part is I joke that when I go to work at Grey's Anatomy, I'm either wearing street clothes or I'm basically wearing pajamas. I mean, the scrubs that doctors wear are basically pajamas and the most comfortable things on the face of the planet. And you tend to stand in one spot when you're doing a surgery and don't have to do anything. You're doing all the acting with your eyes while you're looking down into the field and trying to reach into somebody's, pump their heart for them in their bodies. Station 19, I'm wearing literally about 50 pounds of gear. The clothes themselves, they call turnouts, the fireproof outfits that, the firefighters wear. The SCBA, which is our oxygen tank on our back, the helmet and everything. The helmet is 5 pounds. Literally getting dressed is an exercise you have to practice on Station 19. So that, for me, it's the 9-year-old in me that loves to play with trucks, that loves to jump off of, roofs and do all sorts of crazy physical stuff, loves being on Station 19 because it's I get to satisfy all of that. And then we get to also be funny. And then we also get to be sexy. And then we also get to put all this drama together. So both the shows bring a lot of different things, but I don't get to do the action on Grey's as much. The action on Grey's comes every 3, 4, 5 seasons, whereas for us it's like every 3, 4, 5 days. We suit up and we go hard on the action.
And in terms of your character, Ben Warren, now let's take Pacific to Station 19 in terms of season 6. Is it very much a roller coaster ride for him this season, or is it very much in tune with the norm in terms of previous seasons, or is he in for, let's say, unexpected events in terms of this season?
Yes, because here's the thing. But if you've been watching, Ben and Bailey have adopted a couple different kids in the last few years. One is a 3-4 Prue is a 3-4-year-old girl that was the daughter of one of Ben's colleagues who died, and he inherited her. Another is a 17-year-old young man who they adopted because he was homeless and living on the street, but had so much promise, and they saw it in him. And they said, "We're going to give you the family that you haven't had, and we're going to make sure you get a shot at real life." So Ben starts off this season trying to play it safe, trying to letting myself in unnecessary, because Ben is really himself in necessary danger. Ben leaps before he looks more often than he should. And so Ben is trying to keep it together, keep it safe for the family for the first section of the season. But I'll drop a spoiler that fans of the show will see when they finally get when they get a ways into season 6. Trouble finds him because he's been warned and he can't avoid it. And he's not looking for it, but it gets him.
And I know we're specifically talking about Station 19, but is it very much the same for Ben Warren now in these upcoming season of Grey's Anatomy as well? Yeah,
I mean, the fun part was Ben, we'll talk about Joey, the 17-year-old boy that they adopt. Ben finds him on Station 19, kind of rescues him, gets him in, saves the life of one of his friends. And then eventually, brings him to the hospital to try and, it was where they're trying to save the lives, not Joey's life particularly. And it's Bailey who just decides that we're going to adopt him. And so actually Ben and Bailey have, it actually creates some drama in their relationship where he's angry with her. You don't just adopt a kid and not talk to me about that. But eventually, and she's like, well, what do you, he's like, no, of course we're going to adopt him. Of course we are. I love the kid, but you got to talk to me first. So it's like, Ben and Bailey had this great way of arguing. They're like the goals when it comes to how to actually have an argument with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your spouse. They can go knock down, drag out, but you also know nobody's leaving. It doesn't become an existential relationship threat, which is I think it's always been fun for Chandra and I to play, and it's a great example, I think, for people in the world.
And I know, Joyce, just talking to you before we came on air, you were very involved in the Actors Guild and Actors Union in terms of the showcase awards that happen every season. And I do believe you had a prominent moment there only last weekend in the Sage Awards. You might enlighten our audience in terms about your involvement in that. And is that all across America, that sort of Sage Awards, from every sort of production? Is every sort of actor or actress involved in that?
Yeah, look, SAG-AFTRA is the union that protects actors here in the United States, and actually in all of those actors across the globe. And we have an award show called the SAG Awards, and it's become one of the preeminent awards in award season here in the States. So, if I think something for like the last 5 years, the people who won the SAG Award for Ensemble won the Oscar for Best Film. So it really affects a lot of films. And, and part of it's because SAG-AFTRA has, we've got 130,000 voting members of actors. So it's tons of diversity all across the globe. Every kind of person from every kind of walk of life is in this union and has the chance to vote in the pictures. So you really get a broad selection. And we just had the SAG Awards and it was on display. I mean, I don't want to spoil it because people can actually go to, for the first year, we're starting with Netflix is our partner in it. And we're on the Netflix YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube channel and look for Netflix's channel on YouTube, you can watch this year's SAG Awards, which just happened this past Sunday. And then starting next season, we will be live on Netflix itself. And the awards were off the chain. The fun thing about being online is you don't have standards and practices, so we can cuss. And people went ahead and enjoyed themselves with the extra freedom that they had, because you can get away with stuff that you can't get away with on regular TV anymore. So that was a beautiful and fun and funny change to the awards this season. It's a really great show, so people should check it out.
And I do believe, Jason George, you have a unique sort of friendship with the head of the Tourism Ireland department, or a connection within Tourism Ireland.
Yeah, my buddy Eamon, his sister is one of the heads of the Tourism Bureau of Ireland. So we are planning to make it out to Ireland this summer sometime. And so we're looking to come. My wife has been to Ireland a couple different times. I've never been, and I'm dying to go. So if we come out this summer, I hope folks will walk up and introduce themselves and say hi, and open up the doors of hospitality to us, because that's all I hear is that you're never going to find nicer people than in Ireland. So we're looking forward to seeing that this summer.
Yeah, do check out the west coast of Ireland in particular. Aside from the east, capital Dublin, you've got some great Viking and Norman sort of castles that go back to the 17th century. You've a Bourne sort of karst sort of limestone landscape as well there, which is unique in terms of one of Europe called the Bourne. You've the Cliffs of Moher there in County Clare. So along the west coast, Kerry, Clare, Galway, Mayo, there's some sort of terrific sites. If you want to get more to the heartland of Ireland, the country road side, rather than the big city, which Dublin, which would be on the east coast, if you want to see the uniqueness of Ireland, like the Blarney Stone and all that, the west coast is where you want to go.
100%. We definitely. I mean, look, my wife has she's in the pandemic. She discovered a whole bunch of Vikings shows, and so there is a whole part of her that's all about the blood and guts and the history that goes with Vikings and how they, start to make their way into Europe, specifically into Ireland and, in other parts of the UK. So I don't think I could go to Ireland and not end up there because she's dying to see that. But I want to see it. I mean, Blarney Stone above all, you know what I mean? So we'll, and we'll stop in, there'll be more than a couple of pubs that we stop into. So.
And Jason, finally, before I let you go now for the last 30 seconds, because I do believe it's very late at night over in LA at the moment, or California, whatever part you are, you might enlighten us for the final 30 seconds why our audience should tune in en masse to Disney Plus on March the 8th for season 6 of Station 19, and what's in store for them, and also the new season of Grey's Anatomy coming up as well. A sort of double promo for you, so we'll give you 30 seconds in both. What's in store for them and that as well for Ben Warren, as obviously he's jumping from one to the next?
Well, look, if you've been a fan of Station 19, season 6, you have to check out the first episode because it pops off with some things. I'll say this: there are moments in the show that are absolutely heartwarming and hilarious, drop dead funny, and then there are parts of the show that are absolutely shocking and are gonna bring you to tears. And so it's a classic Station 19, classic Grey's Anatomy universe. And the fun part is I feel like we've crossed over between Station 19 and Grey's Anatomy more this season than ever before. So it's fun watching fans of Grey's Anatomy who've never watched Station 19 starting to watch Station 19 and realizing how much they love that show, and vice versa. Fans that started off watching Station 19 realizing that they've got 19 seasons of Grey's Anatomy to go back and catch up on. And so it's but this season of Station 19 has been it's the roller. You got to buckle up, get the wine, get some popcorn, buckle up, and enjoy.
On that note, Jason George, thanks for joining us this evening. Obviously, playing Ben Warren as a first responder in Grey's Anatomy, and then playing the firefighter himself, Ben Warren, in Station 19, Season 6 in the Seattle Fire Station. Do check it out, March the 8th on Disney+. Jason, congrats with the Stage Awards. Hopefully, it'll be there for many more times to come, and it will rival the Oscars, dare I say. And Jason, obviously, as well, we do hope you very much success in Station 19, and we do look forward to visiting the Emerald Isle over the summer months as well. But for the moment, Jason George, stay safe, take care, and God bless.
You too, James. I'll see you there.
Cheers. Thanks, Jason.